What's going on, guys? It's me, Shukashu. We are back with another Musume video, and here we are with Oguri Cap once again. Because I do want to try and bring her to the CM, so we're just gonna try her at least once a week in these videos. Well, when is the CM again? When is the CM again? Let me see if I can find a date. So it's next week, so yeah, we pretty much have like a week, a little over a week and a half to get these Umas. I mean, I do have, what was it? Referve at least, and that other Duramente, but that other Duramente could be a little bit better if I had more speed. But regardless, we're just gonna be here training Oguri Cap. As for the setup, pretty much one of each. She has 15% on speed and stamina, so I'm gonna see if that'll be okay, because every time I've used one speed, I think I've mentioned this, it's been in the 1700s. And I kind of just want that little bit for 18, but I'm gonna keep trying with the one of each as of right now. But I did try a Duramente run without the Haruura card and did 2 speed instead, and my guts was still able to make it to 1200 plus. So maybe that'll be the move. Maybe that will be the move. But with that be, oh wait, I didn't go over setup. One of each. Steno Love Speed, Measure Ramino Wise, Super Creek Stamina, Tamamo Power, Haru Guts, and borrowing a Grind Friend card, not Fine card. But other than that, let's get the run started. And before we get started with the run and the comments, if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, the link is down in the description down below. There's a channel called Circle Quest for those who haven't joined a circle or are looking for a circle to join. Y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit request join. It'll let me know that you want to join the circle. And then after that, head over to the comments section or the circle request channel. Let me know that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not somebody else. But with that being said, I'll load up the comments. And it looks like we do have, I think, 2 comments from the Friday video that didn't make it in yesterday's video. But I'm gonna go over to Noki's first because they're just nice and simple. Because they were the first comments of this video. So the first comment from Tanoki says, huh, 0 minutes ago. More like, I'm surprised you actually... Usually you're like half a day later or like a couple hours later. 0 minutes ago. I don't think... It's either I'm recording and you'll add a comment, or apparently you'll get 0 minutes ago, but pretty sure this won't be a normal thing unless he makes it a normal thing. It should be funny. But the last one from Tanoki says, sucks to hear, gotta wrap yourself in bubble wrap. Extra layer on the leg. Sounds like you... And then Nova says, sounds like you have some kind of trauma with bubble wrap. I don't know what exactly can go wrong with bubble wrap. I mean, I literally have bubble wrap right here. That's funny you mention. I got bubble wrap here. I don't necessarily know what's wrong with bubble wrap. They're just, you see them, you pop them. 10%. Well, my leg is fine. It's my foot. Foot to ankle most of the time. But yeah, thank you, Tanoki, for the comment and Nova for replying. Now we'll go over to the last video because there were 2 comments from there. I'll go over the one because one of them is Nova's, so I'll just go finish off with Nova so I can continue it off with his comments from last video. So this comment is from let me refresh just to be sure. I think I've responded to his comments because he has responded to previous videos, but like ones that has been posted either weeks, maybe a month ago or something like that. But it's a comment from Nyan Patsukun Sama with from what it looks like Kasumi from Bang Dream as their profile pic. And it says, do you think it is highly likely that Almondai becomes a playable character and will make her debut on the 4.5 anniversary this year? You make it to be the half anniversary this year. Honestly speaking, I think it's too early. If she would get to release too. Maybe not. Because the gap from the Kita card from maybe because that was a year gap actually. Like about a year gap. I don't know why that's always like the example, but if we think like Orfer, that took a whole year because she was the anniversary card, and the next year she became the anniversary character. So for the most part, it's looking like they won't be a character for at least a year. So maybe you're looking at next anniversary if I'm assuming people really want her, they would. If Side Games assume they really want her, then they would put her as the anniversary. But I don't think after 6 months, since 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is, her card was released, they probably won't release her for the half anniversary, and that's just my thoughts. That's just my thoughts on how I see it. And it continues on saying, I really want to get her because of her character design. Like I said, I've always said, pull for the characters you like. And then Nova says, I need her too. Well, hope we have another speed card to replace her. Most likely, they like to release their speed cards. Most likely, they like releasing speed cards. Well, with that being said, that's it from Nyan Patsukun-sama. I do request to ask you, what would you like me to call you when I go over your comments? Cause it's not like I don't mind saying the whole thing. It's just, what would you rather be called? But also thank you, Nova, for replying and for the comment. Nyan. I'm just calling you Nyan for now. And then now we'll start going over the Nova comments, starting from Friday's video because he added another one. It says Shushu will probably read this at a later time. I did. But yeah, like I'm getting stumped in global UMA already. My motivation is 0.1%. And I can't blame you. I mean, UMA JP's been around for almost 4.5 years. I mean, minus your 1 year. Minus your 1 year, you've been playing for 1 year, right? Oh, yeah, 1 year, because you didn't do Make a New Track and Grand Live, right? I'm assuming that I remember correct. So I'm gonna say year. You played for about 3.5. But regardless, if you've played JP even for like a year, you know, having all these characters release, support cards release, quality of life updates, and all that, it would be hard, in my opinion, to really double down on global. I say the same thing because, like, even though I do play, at least I try to 1 a day, minus the day I posted videos, which I have to record a video for today. for global. It's just like, for me, global is more like whatever. Be honest about it. It's more like whatever to me. Am I having fun? It's debatable. That is very debatable because it's just me playing the same game, but missing a lot of things that I already have access to in another version that I am perfectly fine playing with. that is the main thing. That's really just like, I don't really hate. I don't hate global. It's just it doesn't. I don't want to give it more attention than I feel like it needs because I will most likely play JP more. That's just how it is. So I don't blame you, especially since you have been pretty much going ham in JP, I'd say. With like your extra for going for the 15 trainings and all that. Yeah, I could see it hard to really get motivated for global, especially because we've been playing this game as it updated, as it grew and improved and all that. It's kind of hard to just pretty much go back to square one and expect to feel nostalgic. Oh, I guess in the beginning, yes, the first like couple days it did feel nostalgic, but after what, 2 weeks, 2 weeks plus, maybe 3, I don't know. It just feels like we've just turned back the time in JP and just added translation so we can play it or understand what we're reading, but at least for those who don't understand. So for me, it's not that I don't have motivation to play, it's just I don't feel obligated because my primary account is JP. At least that's how I see it. Like, yeah, I'll go log in, play a run or two, see how I do, but it just doesn't necessarily sit right, I guess. Like, if I do more than, besides like for the special week card, the event for that one, besides that, that was primarily the main motivation because I didn't do it. Well, I did do it, but since I swapped my account to reroll for Teo and McQueen anime collab, then yeah, I didn't have it when I played. So now I just took that opportunity just so I can have that speed card. And now that that's done, I'm just like, what now? What now? So yeah, I get it. But moving on, so if I don't get locked in global by the end of the month, I can leave the rubbish circle. Unfortunate I can't survive long enough to see Vivlos release. Vivlos release, you're gonna look at least, I mean, if it's accelerated, and you're probably gonna look at like 2, maybe 2.5, maybe. Wasn't she released like 3-ish, 3.5 years later? I don't remember, but something like that. Something like that. I don't exactly remember. So it's all good. All good. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of us who had joined the circle probably don't give as much attention at all compared to us playing JP. So you're not alone there, Nova. You're not alone. I can confidently say that you're not alone. Well, moving on to his comments on the next video. Oh. Well. Might have to consider using Wedding Amazon as a parent. She's not particularly good on this CM, I heard, but I don't have many options for chasers. Between her, Dura, and Orferv, only Mecha Taishin I can consider, and I don't really like to use Taishin in general since getting her OG form all those years ago. Heck, I don't even remember how I got Mecha Taishin. Oof. I would probably have to say it would have to be one of your random tickets. Either that or maybe she came across whenever you pulled for maybe Orferv. I'm just trying to think of your Uma pulls. Orferv or Verxina, because I don't know who else you pulled for besides those two. Besides those two, I don't know who else you pulled for. So if it wasn't from those, then all I can think of is your daily or your monthly tickets. If it ain't from any of those two, then I have no idea. Maybe from your paid banners. I don't know. I haven't trained Taishin in a while. Do I want a trainer? Kinda. But then I can't use the Taishin card, so kinda not. Kinda not. Want to, but whatever. Next one says, my question for your feet is, I guess my foot, because it's only one of them. Says, why you like this? Oof. For real. But no, I kind of get an idea. Why? I mean, I most likely just overdid it. Over their weekend or something. That at least, what, almost 2 weeks ago? That's all I can say. And also, you know, things, just an age thing. You get older, your body gets worn down. Or if you don't, you know, keep up with daily activities or anything like that, things can happen, overusing and all that. It's just a thing that I guess you just get, it happens over time. You get, especially if, you know, you're not doing too many extracurricular things. Like, yeah, I do work out and all that. Heck, for like the past year, I lost like nearly over a year probably at this point. Close to 70 pounds. So yeah, I just pretty much been, I have been trying to get back to my normal weight, or at least the weight that I was used to being around. Maybe I just overdid it, which I know for a fact that this isn't like a normal foot's ankles. It ain't an ankle sprain for sure, because it's not my ankle, it's my foot. It ain't like a sprain or anything. I feel like I may have strained one of the tendons on the top outer side of my foot. I believe is the peroneal tendon. So pretty much just me taking it easy. It could last about 2 weeks at the very least. So I'm kind of hitting that 2-week mark. But it can last a little bit longer. But I can say that it is feeling literally before I before I started recording, I went to the bathroom to, you know, obviously got to walk and all that, and it felt like that day where I felt confident that maybe if I push it just a little bit before I got my setback. Yeah, it felt like that where it wasn't, the pain was there, it was subtle. But it wasn't like really hurting. And I was walking a little bit better. Less of a limp, but still a limp was there. But I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it like I did previously. So I'm just gonna stick to what I've been doing for the past few days, or a couple of days since the setback, and I'm just gonna keep my foot elevated as much as possible. That plus icing it 2 to 3 times a day, because I don't want to ice it too much. And then, yeah, just take it easy. Obviously, I still got to get around to, like, make my food, go to the bathroom, shower, and all that. But besides that, I mean, I've also been massaging it, even though it hurts a little bit. I'll give it a little massage, stretch, just to, trying to, like, loosen it up a bit. But no, for the most part, it's not something that I'm not used to. I mean, I played sports as a kid. Had a couple injuries there, obviously. Ankle sprains for the most part. Don't think I had much besides those. But yeah, just pretty much just used to what I gotta do in order to recover and all that. So yeah, we'll just see how it is within, like, maybe the next week and a half. See how it is. But if I do have to go out of the house, I will make sure that I try not to overdo it. Especially if it's at risk of me having another setback, then for sure I'll just do a rain check or reschedule whatever I have to do in order to more focus on my own recovery rather than risking it to get worse. Heck, even make it a worse injury because it's in the middle of still recovering. And if I end up doing something wrong, like a misstep, or like, something happens, I don't want to make it worse than it is. So just taking it easy. That's all I can say. For the most part, I can at least say that it doesn't bother me when I sleep for like the while now, for like the longest. And that's honestly a big plus, because if it's radiating, pulsating pain while I'm trying to sleep, that's where I kind of get a feeling like, oh crap, this might be. But usually it's in the early stages when that happens, because once it starts losing the swelling and all that, obviously it'll be better. But regardless, I just need to take it easy. You finally doing the Wuwa story means one thing: Lupa is best girl besides Chun-Li. As much as I like Lupa, I'll just say she's top 3. Along with Chun-Li, because I still like Carlota a lot. But I do like Lupa a lot. She might top Chun-Li. But yeah. And it's funny because it's all sense with the ice and fire. My top 3 in Wuwa is ice and fire. Brent is alright. I mean, Brent is Brent. Brent is Brent, so yeah, Brent's alright. We could go with this. I've just been using him as a main DPS on his fusion team. One heavy attack is enough to do away 1/3 of the enemy's health. I was looking into the constellations for Lupa and Chun-Li, and my conclusion is Chun-Li's investment might be more worth than Lupa. What do you think? I'm just gonna get her dupe from the shop anyways whenever her rerun comes again. What do I think? That requires me looking. That requires me looking at constellations or their dupes. Well, for me, it doesn't necessarily matter because I don't really go for dupes, but I mean, well, Lupa's sequence 2 doesn't seem too bad because it gives 20% more fusion damage bonus to all resonators, and it can stack up to 2 times. So We're looking at 40%. That's pretty darn good. But let's go take a look at Chun-Li. Hmm. It is interesting because it increases her damage and resistance to interruption for the first one. I'm assuming you're talking about up to sequence 2. Sequence 2 if you're just going for the shop dupes, because they max out at 2. That's what I'm going off by. It depends. Is your crit rate for Chun-Li low? That's kind of like the main question I kind of want to ask, because I mean, if your crit rate's fine, then sequence 2 for Chun-Li doesn't necessarily matter, because it only increases crit rate by 25% for 8 seconds. But if your crit rate's already high enough, then what's the whole point of that? You're just gonna over crit rate. So in my opinion, with Lupa being pretty much the buffer here, I would probably say Lupa. In my opinion, I would probably pick Lupa over it. Just because it gives fusion damage to everyone. Up to 40%. But if we're going for all the way to 6, I mean... it would make Chun-Li definitely better as a main DPS if you go all the way to 6. If you're going to use her as a main DPS. If you're thinking about dupes. Like for me, without any dupes, and I'm using her as my main DPS, perfectly fine. So, maybe up to you. But for me, I'd pick Lupa. It's funny because I said if you're using Chun-Li as a main DPS, I'd go for that, but I'm not going to get any dupes for Chun-Li. At least, as of right now, I don't feel like I will. A runner I like. It's hard to say. I guess if I have to choose, then it's Cowstone Light. A more recent one. I think she's acoustic to a good degree, and I find that pretty good. I have never seen anyone use acoustic like that in a sentence. Unless you were trying to type something else and you got auto-corrected, but I won't know. I find that pretty good. Was never a Akita or Suzuka fan, and I think I'd like Tap Dance City if her voice wasn't so manly. Go with this, fine. Surprised that I have... We have a race here. We're at 10. All to no show. Well, it's funny because I do like Kita, Suzuka, and Custom Light. I never really remembered Tap Dance City's voice, so if you say so, then I'm gonna believe it, because I mean, we talked about like PM Opera and Sounds of Earth, so I'll believe you for sure. Normal New Year's is like whatever. It really is. It really is. I just sleep away. Well, I'm awake most of the time, so... Well, talking about New Year's, I guess. I'll be awake, but... It's not like I celebrated. I'm just awake because I'm just awake. For Chinese New Year, though, it was fire. 12 days of vacation plus red envelopes for my gacha funds. Good times, man. Also, Asian food for days. That definitely sounds way better. I guess Miyabi to you is like Chun-Li to me. No matter how many versions have passed, I'll still invest in my Chun-Li till EOS. Hey, I'm still investing in Chun-Li also. I'm still under defense if I should update her echoes or not, because I don't really see a lot of people like mentioning to swap it. I have seen that you can, but I don't know. I haven't swapped it yet. Have you swapped it? I'm kind of curious, but yes. Miyabi is pretty much of that, because I don't see a problem with using Miyabi in the future, because obviously she started off great. Strongest DPS in the game for quite a bit. Probably still is. Just matched up with Ishwin. But other than that, I mean, with that, it'll take her a while to actually have people be phasing her out. But even when she gets phased out, I'm still gonna try and use her. I'm still gonna try and use her, so it's fine. The Nova says, well, I have a crippling skill issue even for a gacha player. Like, I would get destroyed even in turn-based gachas. Swiping is my salvation. So you're saying if you were to play Star Rail, you would still struggle there? It is turn-based, you know? No way. But let's see. Here. Do rest. 13%. Sure. But to be honest, Miyabi's gameplay is a bit stale for me. I'm still having fun with Evelyn, Astra team, obviously. There's one CC, who's a saint that does... PC, content creator? Who is a saint that does think Miyabi got power crept in a few patches just because he couldn't beat Shiyu with Miyabi on an ice resistance boss. I am not naming names, but it's funny to see the drama nonetheless. Not being able to beat an ice resistance boss with Miyabi. I don't want to try that. I haven't. I'll be honest. I don't try that. I haven't tried that. Reason being is because I see ice resistance. I'm like, all right, I get to use a different character. That's kind of weird. How can you be mad if you're testing against an ice resistance boss? Because any normal person would not use an ice character unless they're trying to test something, but that is weird. I will say that is weird, especially in a few patches. Until now, Miyabi's still in the top with Yishuin. No power creeping. Ellen's buff didn't help. Releasing, what's his name, Hugo, didn't help or didn't do anything. Miyabi's still up on top. Pretty much Miyabi's still on top. So yeah. Well, for sure, maybe at one point people will probably say Chun-Li. You were talking about Wu so much I said Chun-Li, but maybe at one point people will put Yi Xuan on top over Miyabi. But as of right now, they just share tier 0 with each other. That's pretty much all it is. And then lastly from Nova, says, meh, I'll wait until they slowly implement buffs to the standard characters. I still have my standard selector to choose from, and I'm only missing Nekomata. So you're not gonna pick Nekomata and just call it a day? No, we failed a training at 15%. Oh well. But other than that, thank you, Nova, for all the comments. Appreciate it as always. Oops, I should probably schedule the Osaka High. That's not the Osaka High at all. There we go. I don't want this. Get on my schedule. So have 10%. Okay, good. And the next comment, I did see it, is from... I'm just gonna call you Kitty because I don't know what we 6 ill is. I don't know what that means. So, sorry. It says, Hishi Amazon is one of my faves, especially her bride version. I want her in global. So next. Nova response says, soon, my child. 1 year, soon. Yeah. I still don't know how this acceleration thing is going to happen in global. Or how it's going to be. So, we'll just see. But other than that, thank you, Kitty, and for the comment, and Nova for replying. Oh, wow, I did that one. Oh well. Next and last comment. Refresh just to see if it's the last comment. Yes, the last comment is gonna be from Eugen, and it says, Shushu always seems injured every year, just like last year. That is true. That is actually true. Last year, was probably one of my worst because that lingered for months. Well, it didn't like keep me immobilized for a month. Maybe like the first 2 weeks, it really did. Like, it was just hard. And this was like my inner leg. I pulled something there. It wasn't my hamstring, because the hamstring is what, or my quads. Hamstring's under. It wasn't my quads because it wasn't over, it's to the side. So I don't know what that is. But whatever that is, I pulled. For a funny reason too. Funny reason. I laugh every time I talk about it. But I got basically jump scared by a lizard. And I didn't feel it until the next day. And it was bad. It was bad. And for 2 weeks, I was basically like, it was bad, like to walk and all that. I was actually like, my right leg, it was hard to use my right leg. And I could say that I felt like I didn't fully recover, like fully recover until Christmas time. Or Christmas New Year's time, because it was like around early August. I believe that was last, yeah, early August. Was that last year or was that 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Or whatever it was. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. That for the leg thing. Last year was it just happened. And I guess with this year, with what had happened, it just gave me this big realization, like, damn. Maybe I should, start working on my lower body, because throughout my whole life, my upper body has always been stronger than my lower body. I never had upper body injuries. All my injuries have been lower body. So, like, the worst thing I could say that happened to me upper body was just really sore arms. That, and yeah, just basically sore arms. My legs have taken pretty much most of the injuries, if not all my lower body. That one leg injury from like 2 years ago, and mostly from like sports, was like ankle injuries. ankle sprains for the most part. And then this one being still a lower body, it's still, you know, still counts. But I do want to try and change that starting this year. I know, but it's like, it's not like I have been trying to, you know, get more fit by losing all that weight already that I said earlier, like almost 70 pounds. Yeah, it was just nice to like see me get back into close, but I'm not there yet. But really get back into kind of in shape. I've been trying to do that for like the past year and a half, because I wouldn't have lost that many pounds if I didn't. But still trying to lose more, at least like 30 to 40 more. Really get me where I want to be. If I want to be picky about it. But at the minimum, maybe like 30. 40 if I really want to get to where I really was my fittest. But only time will tell. Obviously, this is kind of a setback for me because obviously taking time off. So we'll just see how it goes. I don't normally give like health updates or like weight updates and everything because it's not like a thing that I'm like, I know, no, but it's just something to mention since we're talking about a foot injury and all that. It all connects. So definitely after I recover and all that, I do feel like I want to improve on my lower body strength more to avoid that. I want to get like just any any muscle or anything like that more use, like especially being older compared to in high school. Want to make sure that my leg just say, you know, fit enough to where it can avoid these like these little injuries, like little ankle sprains and all that. Unless I actually do tweak it, then that's a different story. But like just to like avoid any straining of any tendons or anything like that, to make sure that I can be on that. Also being healthy. But moving on with the comment, please give me says me not clearing some Zenless mission skill issue. Me clearing some Zenless missions with Miyabi, no issue. Me not clearing daily Zenless mission, sleep issue. I'm gonna be fair with you, Tanoki. I'm Tanoki, Eugen. I don't know why I said Tanoki. But I'll be fair with you, Eugen. I can't really judge you in Zenless. You know why? It's because I don't know if you made any improvements from the last time with your drive disk builds and all that. I just don't know. So I can't really say anything because I don't know if you're doing the shield defense that updates every 2 weeks along with the deadly assault. I don't know if you're doing that along with, I don't know if you actually did build your characters like I hope you did, but well, I feel like you didn't. And yeah, that's basically it. And your team compositions, because I will say your team compositions and your reasonings was slightly weird to me before, like saying that you put Soldier 11 with Anby's team or Soldier 11 with Soldier 0 team because it had fire weakness. Weird reason. Weird reason. Something like that, like it had fire weakness, but what does that have to do with Anby? Nothing. Completely nothing. Because we're talking about fire weakness. So yeah, I don't want to completely judge you in Zenless until I know your account is actually been managed and fixed up. If it's still pretty much the same as always, then I'm just gonna say you're not even there yet. So I can't really tell if it's a skill issue. Right now, if I'm just gonna go off what I know from your account, it's just more of an account issue right now because you haven't I haven't had gotten an update. So I don't know if you actually did work on your drive disk. I feel like you're just being extremely picky and only wanting to use some some pieces that are usable and just keep farming until you get better pieces. So yeah, I don't know what really you're going after and there. I don't know what you've been up to. So I'm not really gonna say nothing. I will just call it an account issue until I know you've actually fixed up your account. I'll call it an account / sleep issue. That's pretty much all I got. And then anime Yomishi Pedal always keeps ringing my head the Hime Hime song. I don't think you ever mentioned you watching it ever since I've mentioned it a long time ago to Nuz. And I've always mentioned Yomishi Pedal as like one of my top sports animes. So did you see the whole thing? Did you see the whole thing? Because this is my first time hearing that you have watched it or mentioned it. But other than that, that is pretty much it for all the comments. Unless I refresh and see another comment. No. Well, thank you, Yujin, Nova, Kitty, Tanoki, and Nyan for the comments. Appreciate it as always. And I guess since anime was mentioned, I can say that what was I say? I started catching up on anime. This is one that I've actually been holding off from for the longest. And yeah, like since it stopped showing episodes and then the movie came out and then they're going to continue. I think they're going to continue it. I think that was announced. And it's Black Clover. I actually continued off from where I left off. And I probably should have watched it a long time ago. But what got me to really watch it was because of the fact that there was finally news on it. If I wasn't unless I'm wrong. So I was like, you know what? About time. So I think I may have found my comeback to catching up to all the anime that I missed over the years, or not over the past year and a half or two, surprisingly. Although now I have to really go backtrack and see what anime am I missing. I know Noah's probably gonna mention the 100 Girlfriends thing. Yes, I do. I will watch that. Let me actually see what are some animes that I promised my friend I'd watch Solo Leveling. But I saw news like the studio behind it lost like $1 million or something like that. But I don't know. Let's see what I missed in 2024 that I could mention. That I most likely wanted to watch since we're there. I haven't continued Danmachi in season 3. Is there anyone here who's kept up with Danmachi, or is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? I had to say either or because I normally call it Danmachi. A lot of stamina. Oh, Holy crap. Oh man, I didn't want to do that, but I did. I do want to see the Too Many Losing Heroines one. I haven't seen season 3 of ReZero yet. I don't know if it's been completed. I think I mentioned this before. Until this, I still haven't watched Mushoku Tensei, so. What else? I think Konosuba had a 3rd season. I haven't seen it yet. For sure. I mean, we're talking about it. But yeah, I haven't seen Konosuba. I don't know what else. Oh, I think Sound Euphonium had a season 3. Been waiting for the longest. Bleach. I actually haven't watched the new Bleach at all. Even though I said I would, but only because I promised my friend I would rewatch Bleach before I watched the new one. That never happened. That never happened. And it is what it is. See? I think also the Monogatari series, I heard that one released in last year, right? I think the one I saw last year in anime that I wanted to see was Dan Da Dan. But I'm trying to think of more. I don't know more. I heard things about Sakamoto Days. Obviously the updated to like some of the things I already watched, like Fire Force, Dr. Stone, whenever. Another thing I can catch up to is One Piece. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've caught up with One Piece. So there's that. Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah. I need to look at the list of what's been released and all that from by season, just so I can see what I can catch up on and write it down. Because I'm gonna forget. Off the rip, I can remember the 100-year quest, the fairy tale one. That for sure. From what I've seen, you either hate fairy tale or you love it. I'm in the part where I love it, I guess. At least based on what I've heard from people's feedback. I either hear them hate it or I hear them like it. Never in the middle, like it's alright. But yeah, I don't know what else to mention. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Obviously I won't be using this cap because her speed is kind of low. Kind of low compared to what I want it to be, so it is what it is. Her stamina is stupid high. I didn't expect it to be that high. That definitely caught me by surprise. With that being said, there's a chance this might get a low UB, only because like a lot of the stats were like at 1600, I think. So I won't be surprised if it hits UB because of that. I figured. Now, I feel like I'm okay removing the stamina card for this cap, only because it's this cap. Because of her skill, her unique skill. So I'm gonna try and do runs without the stamina card. Maybe give it more to speed, and we'll see from there. But I don't know. We'll just see. What I do know is I gotta get to record for global. So literally right after this, I'm gonna start recording for global. But ended off with 1632 speed, 1700. I believe that's capped. 1700 stamina, 1720 power, 1274 guts, and 1254 wise with an S aptitude on medium distance. It is my best rank one. It is my best rank one, being the first UB Christmas cap. So with that being said, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. If you guys didn't make it this far, I do want to say thank you. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what y'all been up to. And if there's anything else y'all want to talk about or ask me or anything really, as long as it's appropriate, I'll go over it. And if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description down below. There is a channel called Circle Quest for those who haven't joined a circle or are looking for a circle to join. Y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit request join. It'll let me know that you want to join the circle. And then after that, head over to the comment section or the circle request channel. Let me know they sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not somebody else. But with that being said, guys, thank you once again. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.